I mean, Waco, obviously, just to sort of give people what it is. There was a so-called religious cult that was called the Branch Davidians, which was a particular delineation of the Seventh-day Adventist Church, and they had a compound, or it's called a compound. That's one of the sort of media spins. Compound implies that it's a militarized zone. It's essentially they had a commune at a place called Mount Carmel in Waco, Texas. Now, contrary to what people believe, this had actually been there for many, many years, and before David Koresh actually became the leader of the Branch Davidians, this particular commune had been there for a long, long time. Now, what happened was essentially, basically, the ATF turned up on a couple of charges. One, that they were stockpiling weapons, which was perfectly legal. They were actually dealing in weapons, and the CIA and the ATF knew about this, and it knew it was particularly legal. And then they sort of also were concerned that underage sex had been going on, that young girls had been coerced into having sex with David Koresh and other members of his followers. Whether this is true or not, I don't know. Now, the thing that interests me about this is there's certain mind control aspects to it. I mean, the first thing that we need to sort of get off the bat is that basically the ATF murdered these people. Now, the reasons for this, we don't know. We'll come on to this in a second. But I mean, there are several documentaries about it. One of the better documentaries, but not complete, is called Waco Rules of Engagement. And basically what this shows is that the ATF set fire to the front of the building and then went around the back of the building with machine guns, and basically machine gunned women, children, and anybody that was trying to escape the blazing compound. And this was shown by basically their own FLIR technology, which is like infrared technology that captured the muzzle flares going off as people were trying to escape. Furthermore to this, which this has not been included in any documentaries except for one about Bill Hicks, strangely. If you go to sacredcow.com, you can actually see this footage. A Bradley tank with a flamethrower fitted to it actually rolled up to the front of the compound and used a flamethrower to actually set fire to the compound. This is aside from the fact that, just like with the recent Chris Dorner thing and just with the several things, incendiary devices, tear gas, when it settles, it becomes an incendiary device. It's incredibly, incredibly flammable. And so basically, once you've got that layering the entire area, you can actually throw in a flashbang grenade which has an incendiary spark to it, and this causes the flame which will then set fire to the building. But this is beside the point, because, as I say, the FLIR technology shows that the fires were set at the front of the compound in at least 3 places simultaneously, which, again, just like the Chris Dorner thing, this is a tactic of trying to burn people out. Furthermore to that, before that, the ATF had actually been around and strafed. There's footage of them strafing from a helicopter, which is again illegal, a 14-year-old boy that was in a lookout position in a tower at the Waco compound, and so the whole thing is absolutely despicable from top to bottom. Regardless of whether you believe this to be a cult or not, this is very strange. My personal opinion is that certain aspects of this point towards a sort of MK Ultra style mind control cult, very, very similar to the concept of Jonestown. Now, several things sort of point to this. There's a CIA operative called Gunther Rustbaker, who wrote a book called Operation Open Eyes, and he claims that basically, similarly to Jonestown, members of the Branch Davidian compound, the whole thing was a sort of trauma-based mind control, so that could tie in with sort of the concept of authoritarianism, punishment, sex with the younger children and stuff like that, remarkably similar to Jonestown, if that is true. Gunther Rustbaker basically said that several of these people were triggered, just like in Jonestown. They went off. They were basically sleeper cells that were to be there to be used later on, and they were triggered. They fired on the ATF, and so they had to be rounded up and essentially eliminated to prevent anything else going on. Whether this is true, I do not know. One of the things that is certainly true is why I believe that the intelligence agencies were definitely involved, not just the ATF, was one of the tactics that they actually used to sort of try and get people out of the compound. This is what they claimed. They used a thing called synthetic telepathy. They also used a barrage of white noise. One of the things that they actually used was the sound of rabbits being slaughtered, having their throats slit. and this was amplified along with Metallica music, I believe, and several other pop songs at like deafening decibel levels all throughout the night to keep people awake and also to traumatize people. This is interesting what they're actually doing in places like Guantanamo Bay. They use these looped noises to basically disorientate people and to create sort of people. They make people more able to be mind controlled. Another aspect that was definitely true was that the CIA approached a gentleman called Igor Smirnov. Igor Smirnov was actually had worked previously with the KGB. Now he's got a device called the Smirnov pattern. Now what this can do is as I say, synthetic telepathy. It can direct voices into people's heads. Not only that, it can actually cause people's, by affecting the EEG levels, because essentially emotions are caused by a sparking of synapse and electrical process. If you can replicate that before the point, you can cause a person to actually feel that. So they can feel white hot rage or they can feel terror. And Igor Smirnov has a device which can actually do this.